evening. Welcome to another episode of Live with Pete Lombard. I'm Pete Lombard, and I've got a very special guest I spoke to a couple of months ago. I haven't seen this guest in, 20-something years. I was going through the University of Hartford website, and I noticed that one of my classmates, JulieJansen, she's a best-selling author. So I said, what the heck? I'll take a shot. I emailed her, told her about this little show that we have down here in Southern Connecticut, and she said that she'd be willing to come on. Now, Julie, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Pete. It's great to be here.
You haven't changed a bit.
No, I don't think that's true, but thank you.
I want to thank you for coming all the way up from Greenwich here. And no, I don't think you've changed at all, but I couldn't believe that you actually responded to the email. It was a shot in the dark. Now, you've been on MSNBC.
Yeah, I've been on MSNBC and some of the national shows like the Today Show and ABC World News Now. It's been kind of a fun run.
Okay, now tell me about what you do. You're a consultant, you're a motivational speaker, you do all kinds of things.
Oh, I motivate people and help them with tools to be successful at work. So whether it's about finding a job that makes them happy, or change careers, start a business, or just learn how to communicate better or delegate more effectively to their employees. It's sort of the full, ball of wax.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to roll back just for a second here. You can just get a little bit of your background. Now, you grew up in Ohio, was it? Or
I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland.
I moved here when I was about 12. Yeah.
No,
Midwesterners are such nice people.
I know.
They really are.
She turned that one around.
Yeah.
I'm a very difficult person. We'll talk about that later. So then you went to the University of Hartford.
I did. I did.
And you were a mass communication major?
I was a mass comm major. I actually had spent about 4 or 5 years in radio and TV up in the Hartford market.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
What were you doing there?
I worked at FSB. I worked at TIC. Then I worked in the city. I did some news, but I mostly did writing and some research and on-air continuity.
Okay. Now, I must have missed that. I must have been incarcerated at that time because I tend to rip the mattress tag off and everything else. We're going to open up the phone lines at 483-8507. But let's talk about, you have a new book. Now, your other book was a national bestseller.
It's still selling really well, I'm happy to say.
And it is in... It's 10th publication?
It's called, I don't know what I want, but I know it's not this, and it's in its 10th printing.
What's that about?
It means, the book itself is about how to find gratifying work. It's kind of taking a look at yourself and deciding, there's sort of 6 situations, and deciding why you're unhappy or why you want to change, and then what do you do about it. It's very how-to. Mm-hmm. It's very sort of lots of assessments, lots of process. This is what you do if you're bored. This is what you do if you don't have meaning, or if you want to start a business, or you want to retire.
So. Now, you won't say it, but I will. This was an international bestseller, correct?
Well, I wouldn't say international, but it is. It is for sale in Romania, Germany, Austria, the UK, and of course the States and Canada.
Do those people have a tough time getting along with each other? Is that the problem?
Well, they apparently are. Yeah, apparently they're interested in finding work that makes them happy, just like Americans. You're funny, just as funny as you always were.
Oh, thank you very much. Our phone lines are open at 483-8507. I've got motivational speaker and author JulieJansen is my special guest. Coming all the way up from Greenwich, and we really appreciate that. How was the traffic?
It was horrible until Bridgeport, and then I flew. But it was raining. You know how people are in the rain.
Now, there's a lot of stress there. You've got the rain, you've got the traffic. How do you cope with something like that?
I have a little mantra that I repeat to myself because I'm very impatient. And you really can't speed up. Plus, I just bought a new car, so I'm very cautious.
I have a little mantra that I learned in New Jersey that we can't say that on the air, but can you share your mantra with us?
No, I can't.
Something private?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about the new book. You want to work with who?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
You want me to work with who? And before any one of your viewers call in and say it should be whom, it's the colloquial way of sort of talking. But people are just really stressed out about working with other people. I mean, there was a survey that was done in Chicago by an EAP last year, and the survey said the #1 stressor for people is working with other people, and it exceeds workload. So it's tough for people.
Now, this whole thing escalates. I mean, there are people, that I've been in the workplace, in corporate workplace, and many people are, and you have to sit next to the person, and you just don't like them.
Well, people are shoved in.
You hate their guts, don't you?
Yeah, well, you're shoved in
happens.
cubicles.
And it gets...
Right, yeah. You sound like Tucker Carlson when he was interviewing me, trying to antagonize me to see if I'm difficult. I'm kidding. But people are stuck working with first of all, there's 4 generations now in the workplace. There's never been that before. People are sitting in cubicles. People are forced to sit and watch their email all day. They get 15 emails from the same person. So, work is just really stressful overall. And then put a bunch of people together that all are kind of different, and it makes it really challenging.
Well, let's talk about those difficult people. There's different personality types. Let's talk about, all right, what's the #1 problem person that you have to work with besides me?
The #1 problem person is probably the passive-aggressive. And the passive-aggressive is someone who is in front of you is, yes, Pete, yes, Pete, yes, Pete, yes, Pete. And then as soon as that person leaves the meeting with you, they go around and say, I can't believe that, Pete. I can't believe he's making me do that. No, no, no. What a jerk, what a jerk.
Wow, it sounds like you've been eavesdropping here at the studio. No, that's not true. We get along great here. We have a good time. You can tell.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. It is stress-free. Yeah. And then the number 2 toughest person is the bully, the person who yells or picks on people or does kind of mean things to people. And usually it's someone who's higher up. And those are, people don't know how to deal with those people, so they just sort of avoid them.
Let's talk about that first person, the person that is yes, 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 and then they're backstabbing and saying terrible things, and of course that's going to get back to you eventually. How do you approach a person like that? What do you do?
Well, what you do is you try to get them to commit as fully as possible in the situation where you're trying to get them to do that.
Do you confront them?
You don't confront them about being passive-aggressive, but you confront them about the fact that they need to be on board, they need to agree, they need to sign up, they need to, be fully committed, and you don't let them sort of leave until they get there, and then they won't be as passive-aggressive.
So it's kind of like Derek Jeter and A-Rod. They're on the same team. They don't necessarily go and have a beer after the game, but they know they have a common cause.
They do have a common cause, and that's exactly. And in fact, you must have read my book, or maybe not, but you just hit the nail on the head, because the whole deal with difficult people is focusing on the common cause, which is the business goal, whatever that is. Yeah.
Okay. Our phone lines are open at 483-8507. I'm just going to test to make sure it's working. What's on TV tonight?
I don't know. It's repeats. It's the summer.
Well, there you have it. Now the second person, how do we deal with that?
The bully.
Yeah.
The bully is...
That's usually the boss, isn't it?
It can typically be a senior person. You use that person's name more often than you would. If they start moving towards you, you stand, you kind of hold and stand still and don't retreat, because you tend to want to retreat from a bully. And bullying takes different forms. It's not just someone yelling at you. It can be much more subtle than that. And then you get to a point where you say, this behavior is unacceptable. So let's continue this meeting at another time. And you're very repetitive. If someone interrupts you constantly, you say, you've interrupted me, Pete. I'd like to just finish my point before you make your point. And you say it over and over again, because adults are big children.
Adults are big children?
They are, yes.
Well, it is. It's the same kind of thing, because you get to the playground bully. And,
exactly.
I got to tell you, Julie, I've had the best bosses in the world, and I've had the world's worst bosses. And I won't tell you where they were. But one was at WICC in Bridgeport. I had the world's best boss.
Okay, the best is okay.
Her name was Kelly. She was from Chicago. And a lot of positive reinforcement, a lot of retreats. I ate long lunches kind of thing. And she just brought the whole crew together, and even people that maybe we didn't get along with. Well, now you're in a beach situation, and there's a reggae band, and outside the work environment, sometimes that's what you got to do, is bring it outside.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, well, people, I think, are naturally unifiers or motivators, and then many people are not, but that can be learned if someone wants to. But most people are terrible bosses just because they haven't had any formal training. They don't really know how to behave. It might be the way they were socialized, so they think that's acceptable. There's a lot of reasons.
Dale Carnegie.
What's his dog's name? That's what you're going to ask me.
What is it?
Tippy.
Tippy. Okay, not Tipsy. It was
No.
Tippy. Let's talk about Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie was a big influence on what you do today?
Actually, I quote Dale Carnegie in my chapter on empathy. I have something called the 11 Keys.
In that book?
There's actually a quote and a footnote, and and he, in the How to Win Friends and Influence People,
right.
which is a classic and a bestseller, he talks about empathy and how important it is. And I believe if I look at my 11 keys for getting along with people, there's 11. Empathy is up there.
That's emphasized. That's in your new book. You want to work with who?
Exactly. Who?
Okay.
Right.
Let's talk about key number 1.
Okay. Well, key number 1. Do you want me to rattle them off really quickly, and then you can pick the ones you like?
We'll do that.
Because there's not enough time.
If I find interesting, then we'll talk
Exactly.
about that.
Let's do that.
Sure.
So we have. I can say them really quickly.
Okay.
Confidence, curiosity, decisiveness, empathy, flexibility, humor, intelligence, optimism, perseverance, respect, and self-awareness.
Okay. All right. Are we going to a call? I can't hear it. There you go. No. Oh, they have to call back.
Oh.
Okay.
They were too busy trying to write down the keys.
That's what they're doing. They're taking notes. So shorthand, something like that.
Yeah. So self-awareness, the 11th key, is the foundation for all of the others. If one is not self-aware, then it's very difficult to develop any of the other keys and to work better with other people.
Now we're more of a melting pot in this country than we ever have. We've got all cultures, we've got all religions.
And generations.
Generations, and of course the workforce is about 50-50 male-female. I'm going to ask about something fairly sensitive. Now, 20 years ago, we know the obvious answer to this question, and that is somebody's homosexual. Should they come out of the closet to their fellow workers? Would they, get more respect? Is it something you keep to yourself?
I was just interviewed for an article on Yahoo Hot Jobs about that topic, and I said no, unless you're comfortable with it. There's no reason why you would talk about anything, whether it's religion and observing, religious holidays or your sexuality or anything.
Well, what I'm
unless you
saying
want
is that
to.
it is now, it's more accepted than it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it was kind of a taboo thing, and now it's being, it's...
Actually, it's more accepted on the coasts, where we are here and the West Coast. In the Midwest, I travel quite extensively. It's still not that accepted. Not in the conservative states, no.
Well, okay, so it really depends on geography.
It does.
We're going to go, we have Bob on the line. Hi, Bob, you're on the air. Hi, Bob.
Thank you. Hello,
Turn your TV down, Bob.
Yes.
Hi, Bob.
Hello.
Hi, Bob.
Bob?
Hello, yes. Are you there,
Spell
sir?
your name backwards for us, please.
Hello, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, great show. I want to say it's not often you hear experts giving advice on how to deal with problems that exist in the workplace, so thank you for that. Question for you. I'm sure you probably maybe been asked this question before, but how does someone know whether or not there's a good chance that a coworker who might be acting abnormally could possibly, quote-unquote, go postal? And I'll hang up and listen to your thoughts on that.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh.
Wow, that's a great question. What are the symptoms of that someone is going to go berserk?
Yeah, I'm not a psychologist. However, I think that if a certain behavior is a pattern and then it becomes more and more exasperated or exaggerated, depending on what that behavior is, like someone, for example, has poor hygiene and then their hygiene becomes increasingly worse as time goes on, or they are missing more days of work, or they're moodier and moodier and accelerating.
So these are basically symptoms of depression.
They could be depression, they could be anger, hostility, a lot of things. Then that's a time to recommend that person, to your superior, that person contact the EAP, the Employee Assistance Program, or get outside help.
The personnel director should be alerted to how to recognize these signs. Yeah,
the HR people, human resources people, do tend to be pretty on top of that. The problem is that they don't find out about it until too late.
Now, you've done motivational speaking for, this is fine, anything from Sony Corporation to the New York Roadrunners.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to get to that in a second. I know we have a video. Walter, help me. Do we go to the phone? Do we go to the video? Oh, Karen's on the phone. Hi, Karen, you're on the air.
Hi, Pete.
Hello.
This is Karen. I was calling. Hi, Julie. Welcome to Connecticut. Well, to Branford, actually. I have a question. I'm sure you've heard it before. I've been working for a company for 3 years now, and I have a lot of empathy for other people. The problem that I'm going through right now is my boss uses me as a middleman.
Oh.
He's really mean to other employees, and then he just says, Karen, you go take care of it. Do you have any suggestions on what I should do? Should I quit?
Karen, I think I know where you're going here. Excuse me for just a second. Does your boss often take credit for your hard work?
Not necessarily that. He doesn't listen to anybody's advice, and he's trying to grow a new company, but he's very angry all the time, but he's not to me, which is kind of hard for the other employees. I'm a manager. Can see. It's just very hard.
Yeah, Karen, the real answer, and it's probably not something you'll want to hear, but the real answer is that you need to sit him down immediately and say, this is what's happening. I'm very much in the middle. It makes me really uncomfortable. I don't feel that this is my role. I'm here to support you and compliment you, and compliment as in E, not I. But please, can we try to change this?
Yeah,
and that's really the only choice. What other choice is there? Because otherwise, he's discovered your weak spot, which is that you're very empathetic, and you're overusing it because you're forced to. Yeah, it's a strength that most strengths become a weakness eventually if we overuse them. So that's the only thing you can really do, honestly.
Karen, thank you for calling.
If you sat him down before, would you try it again?
It's repetition. Yeah, absolutely. Keep trying.
I will. Thank you, Julie.
Okay, thanks, Karen.
Thank you, call.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We're going to go to the video now. Could you set up this next clip that you brought in?
Oh, sure. I recently gave a speech at Prudential Financial, and it was actually on career management and helping people understand what's important to them in their careers. So I'm not sure which segment we're going to see, but we'll see a little clip on that.
Okay, let's go to the video.
Can die. Every function can go through that same process. So really being not a futurist, but kind of having your finger on the pulse of what's next, what's next, what's next. And reassessing your career strengths. What are your strengths? Bottom line, it's your personal responsibility, and as Raul said, taking charge yourself of your career. So how many of you, with a show of hands, have had an actual career development, not performance management, but career development discussion with your manager in the last 6 months? Okay. So about 12 of you raised your hands. So I would suggest that when you get some of this, you have handouts and there's some of this info, I'll be available later to talk to you, and anybody can email me. I'll make sure you have my email and I am responsive. But if you want to have that career discussion, you do need to be prepared for it, of course, but I do recommend that you do it. Now, let me just plunge into self-awareness. Self-awareness is my 11th key. Now, media, they love me because, as Raul said, my titles are long and I have 11 keys. And so inevitably I'll get on some radio or TV show and they'll say, well, okay, Miss Jansen, tell us, which are the most important keys? And I'll say, they're all important. That's why I have 11. I'm thinking, you moron, to myself. But the truth is, there are some keys that are more important. And self-awareness, in my view, is the foundation for everything else. If you are not self-aware of how you come across to people, your physical presence, the way you communicate with people, how your humor impacts people, what you think of yourself, your confidence, all of those things, you're in trouble. And that tends to be a derailer in your career, eventually. A derailer is not technically strong enough. It's usually the self-awareness piece. I was at a meeting, a potential executive coaching case at a major company, and this woman is president of a division, and I said, what's the biggest issue? And I hear this ad nauseum. She's not self-aware of how she comes across to people in meetings. She yells at people. She's kind of rough around the edges, and she's wonderfully strong technically, but they're bringing in an executive coach to help her become self-aware at age whatever she is. She's probably 45 years old. So
wow.
Self-awareness.
Julie Jansen, you are a dynamic speaker. Wow, now that was recent?
Do you like the polka dots?
I wasn't
a little distracting.
I wasn't focusing on...
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. That was 2 weeks ago in Newark, New Jersey. Lovely Newark, New Jersey.
Now, you've got a beautiful smile. Are you related to the Osmond family?
No, I'm not. But Marie Osmond and I have the same birthday.
Really?
And the same year. That's so funny that you asked that.
Wow.
Exactly the same birthday in the same year.
Barbara, you're on the air. Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
Hello.
We all know people who go from job to job to job looking for kind of what fits their personality, what makes them happy, what they really want to be when they grow up. I once had a professor whose philosophy about work and business was work at your play and play at your business, or play at your work, such as Pete does.
Yes, he does.
I think that that's a very good philosophy.
It is. I like it also.
And I was wondering what you thought of that, Julie.
Oh, I totally think. I mean, one of my keys is humor, and I think laughter is the great connector. And people are way too serious about their work now, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
And I absolutely love that.
Isn't that a wonderful philosophy?
Is. Yeah, it's
and so
wonderful.
what you do is you eventually go and you find a job that you feel like, I can't wait to go to work because I enjoy it so much. And then I'll go home and really work hard on learning how to play tennis.
Yeah, it's great.
So, Barbara, you have a great comment there. Do you have a specific question for Julie Jansen?
No, I just wanted to know that among her 11 keys, if she thought that philosophy kind of fit in there.
It fits into humor.
That would unlock the doors.
Definitely. And it's also, I'm a career management expert, actually, and that just sums up what I want every single human being to feel. And unfortunately, so many people don't. So you're a rarity, Barbara, so thank you.
All right, thank you.
Barbara, thank you for your call. Wow, the phones are ringing this evening. You have a website?
I do. It's www. We don't need to say that anymore, I know. JulieJansen.net, and Jansen is spelled J-A-N-S-E-N.
Okay, there it is. Okay, speaker, consultant, coach, and they can also call you at 203-977-2412. That's your office?
That's correct.
And yeah, somebody very nice answered the phone there when I was calling you for today. Very, very professional.
Oh, good.
Very, very good person. You get along okay?
Fabulously. I get along with everybody. Everybody.
No, you can't get
I've
along
never
with
had a
everybody.
problem.
Well, let's talk about when somebody gets a job and they're brand new in a place. Okay. Do you ever watch The Real World, MTV?
Some.
Okay.
Once in a while.
So what happens is they get 7 strangers together.
Oh, and they shove them all into a contained space.
They've got the gay guy, and they've got the black guy, and they've got the liberal guy, and they get a mix of people. And for the first week, everyone's nice. It's in this wonderful, we're in this beautiful mansion in Colorado, and everything's great.
And then they're starting to get stressed out.
Well, by week 6, they're physically attacking each other. What about when you're in a new job environment? I mean, how do you, everyone's nice and you have a honeymoon, so to speak. How can you really determine, what's going to happen there, or if things start getting out of hand and things start getting clicky and you start finding out the politics? How does one handle themselves early in a job?
Well, it's funny. That's an interesting question, because I recommend to people in new jobs that they kind of do what's called a stakeholder analysis and kind of look around, and a stakeholder is anybody who sort of touches your job in some way.
A stakeholder analysis.
Yeah, and the stakeholders could obviously are your boss, or if you have direct reports, but also peers, it's vendors, people like that. And just kind of looking at those people and trying to determine what you can do to nurture those relationships and get to know them, because the key to work is carrying across your ideas and being persuasive. It's not being a team player, and although that's helpful. So it's a challenging thing for people. People just sort of blunder into relationships and hope they work, and that's not how it works.
Well, I can almost equate it to a high school or a college where you have your cliques, you got your jocks, you got your pot smokers, you got your, your
very
chess
much
club
like
and
that.
everything else. So
it may not be as overt, but
okay, but you got to kind of like stand back and just take a look and try to stay neutral. I don't know if you know, but Harrison Ford and Steven Spielberg are right here in New Haven tonight.
I heard, yeah.
And recently we went out, there was a casting call, and they had like over 1,000 people. So we've got an upcoming show, and we went out on the street just to interview some people, and I tend to gravitate toward interesting people. So we're going to take a look at this video, and it's going to be an upcoming show, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
I'm 9-foot werewolf.
9-foot werewolf. How tall are you with the boots?
Right now, probably 6'2". I'm only 5'9".
Can you put the shades down and just give us a wave there?
Sure.
All right, give us the evil smile. Wolfie and Elle, thank you very much. Good luck to you guys.
You have a
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you guys. Good. Hi, what's your name?
Amber.
And where are you from, Amber?
I'm from Springfield, Mass.
You came all the way from Springfield, Mass. How did you find out about this casting call?
My friend actually that I met on another movie told me about this.
So you've done films before. What kind of a film did you do?
It was a chick flick. It was 27 Dresses. I went to mortuary school, and so I'm looking to get licensed as a funeral director, but now I'm an apprentice for 2 years.
Did the customers ever complain?
No.
How about an impression? Can you do an impression of,
Not so much. Sorry.
How about an animal noise? Any kind of an animal? Yeah, yes.
What kind of animal would you like?
Wow, we have our choice. Give me a monkey.
No, I'm not going to do that.
All right, how about
Like that.
one more time? Hi, what's your name?
Michael Zeitz.
Michael, where are you from?
I'm from Norwalk, Connecticut.
What do you do for a living?
I'm actually a DJ.
Now, you have the Indiana Jones hat. Is that the official one?
No, this is actually a gift from my father.
But it looks like kind of an Indiana Jones hat.
A little bit, yeah.
And we are back. that's a sample of the show, and there's some really interesting characters that we met. Anyway, Julie Jansen, let's show the book. Can you hold the book up?
Sure.
Maybe Roger can get a nice shot of it. It's called "You Want Me to Work with Who?" Not that guy, not that woman. Where's this book available?
It's available anywhere.
Okay.
I would say Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Borders, any independent bookstores.
But you could just like walk in and they have it on the shelf?
Hopefully. If they don't, it means they're either selling a lot or they didn't like it.
Now,
I'm not sure.
your first book was a bestseller. How many did you sell?
I think I've sold about 80,000.
80,000?
Yeah.
And how about in the Soviet bloc? How many did you sell?
None in the Soviet bloc. None.
Well, you said that, I'm talking about the first book.
Oh, the first book is Romania. That's not the Soviet bloc.
What's
Germany and Austria and the
Whatever,
UK.
all those communists over there, yeah.
You need a geography lesson, Pete.
I know, I do. Phone lines are open at 483-8507. I got to tell you a funny story. You remember President Trachtenberg?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
He's in Washington right now, Washington University or something.
Oh, I know. I thought he died. I wasn't
No,
sure.
he's still alive.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, he was the new hip-hoppening president of the University of Hartford. He came in and he spent the night at the bunk, and the bunk beds that they had. Well, you didn't have them because you were an RA, but we had the bunk beds, and he was a pretty cool guy. And he came on the TV show, and he says, "Well, Pete, no, it wasn't the radio show. You on the Wire Sunday nights? Yeah, I'm sure you listened to it.
I did.
Yeah, I'm sure
Every Sunday night.
Yeah, I bet you did. 8 o'clock, right? With Carol Pastorino? No.
Yeah.
But anyway, he says, Pete, what's the biggest complaint that the kids have? At school. I said, well, the food. It's terrible. He goes, well, I just ate there this morning, for $4.95. And it's very fine institutional food. And I said, well, institutional food, that includes prisons too, right? So anyway, make a long story short, we're in the middle of it, and we're talking. We're 25 seconds. Oh, okay. Anyway, he has this horrible pain and says, where's your men's room? And right in the middle of the show, we had to get up and go to the men's room. But
it was the food.
It was. That's why I said good institutional
Right.
food. Anyway, my guest has been Julie Jansen. Julie, I want to thank you very much for coming down all the way from, up from
Fairfield County.
Fairfield
Lower
County, Greenwich.
Fairfield County, yes.
Really appreciate it. I'm going to read your book. Thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you. Thanks,
Good to see
Pete.
you.
It was nice to see you,
It's
too.
really good to see you. Okay. Yeah, they're signing off.
The preceding public access program was made possible with support from RonGlickProductions.com, videography and editing.
American Productions Disc Jockey Service. DJs for weddings and all occasions.
Deeks Solid Wood Furniture of Brantford. Finished, unfinished antiques.